thing? I thought it was 4K.
No, it can it?
I don't know. It said 1080, so maybe that just means your camera's not good enough.
Oh, shush. Why is it always me that's not good enough? Why is it my camera that's not good enough? No,
Probably
it's something I did. It is not.
Welcome to Play for
camera's
Time.
Delightful.
You are delightful.
Thank you.
Welcome to Play for Time. I'm one of your two hosts, Christopher Edward Brogan sometimes. Kerry Shea Gorgon's here, live in the chair. How are you?
Good. So I'm embarrassed to say that our segment this week is another one that resulted from me playing Pokemon GO like a complete dork.
Yeah, we're just dorking it up over here.
I'm realizing I wear a ponytail an awful lot. Like, I look at these clips and go, oh my gosh, I'm so lazy. I do wash my hair. Like, I just don't.
Sure you do.
I do. I just think better with it up. I don't know.
We have the very best Chloe Forbes Kinlan that you could possibly have here. So that's good to see. Hi, Chloe. Hi, everybody else who's joining us, taking a little break out of their day, having a sandwich. I don't know. Joanne's got her coffee. She's ready for another Pokemon adventure. You know, I don't want to set this clip up all that much because I feel like if we do, we're going to, you know, give away what we did. But I will say, oh, and look at that. There's one Leslie Burgess here as well. One thing I will say is that, okay, so Lily, your oldest, got into it. And then you said, hey, we should all play some Pokemon. I was like, okay. And I
sort of said that.
I dusted off Pokemon. And then it was like, all right, well, so now you've got, I don't know, a good bunch of us playing it again. And so in the process, one of the game mechanics is that you, it's all mapped to the real physical world. And so when you're out walking around, I'm just loading mine so I have a point of reference. When you're out walking around, there are these things called PokéStops. They're blue and you spin them on the screen. And when you spin them,
you have to click it before you get
right. Click it, and then you spin it. And then whatever's in the stop,
your item bag is full.
You son of a gun. And then when you spin the stop, it basically gives you a gift, which is like a copy of that stop you just were at.
It's like, well, that's what usually. Okay, so it's like a way station for supplies, kind of. You get Pokeballs so you can keep playing the game. You get potions that help you recover if you battle and stuff like that. But it does also give you gifts that you can then pass along to other Pokemon trainers. And if you have enough room in your bag for gifts, you'll get one with that PokéStop photo.
Right. And so when you like, for instance, that stop I was showing you is the one right out my place. So if I'm lazy, then you get one of these as a gift. And, you know, I could spin it all day. I could have 20 of those in my bag. Certain people, won't say who, have as many as 40 spots in their bag. Most
sometimes for an event or something, they might expand the capacity of your gift bag.
And so that's the game mechanics in that. So in the game, you're supposed to catch Pokemon. You're supposed to keep acquiring the gifts that you need to catch them. And as part of that, there are these spots that are in the physical world. So when I go to Manchester with my kid, I spin lots of Manchester stops. And when Kerry and I are down in Boston shooting for The Office and things like that, we have all kinds of stops that we like to go to that are fun. And like some that
are lame and weird, but like
some are lame and weird.
Interesting. Yeah.
Some they just the art on the stop is just like a plaque or something, and that's not that cool.
No, but it all came from the Ingress platform, right? So if you're like an Uber nerd, you might remember there was one. So some of these things, they're like literally 10 years old, or the store's not there anymore, or like the thing doesn't look as good in real life, the mural's faded, whatever, but it's still really cool. It gets you out of the house. It gets me thinking about the different places that people decided were worthy of stops.
Right.
So, yeah, right. I go down a lot of rabbit holes, I guess.
Yes. And so that sort of gets us to the spot. Oh, Joanne says,
it's a kitty.
Curious about the changing color image at the bottom of the corner. Oh, it's a kitty.
Yeah, I can make it not change colors, I guess.
I think it should change colors. Don't be
weird.
There
we go. I can make it just yellow. stay.
So it's a Coldplay kitty now?
It's on top of my Associated Press style book. That's why you can see it. If it was a little lower, you wouldn't see it. It would be too small, too low.
Good to keep the AP style book handy.
Not a Pokemon thing.
No. So back to Pokemon. So we did the Lord Timothy Dexter story last episode, and we were out. We had something for work to do, and Kerry and we got there earlier than everybody by a little bit, and I was going to take some photos. And in the process, Kerry's playing Pokemon while she's doing it. So we end up finding another stop. So I guess I'll run the little video, and we can see what you discovered down in the city of Boston.
Okay. One of the ways I stay engaged with life, and let's be real, sneak in a few extra steps, is by playing Pokemon GO. It's my digital scavenger hunts for joy. And sometimes it leads me straight into a nerdy history rabbit hole. Case in point. The other day, I was wandering along the Boston waterfront when a PokéStop called The Exchange popped up. Sounded mysterious, important, like a place where something used to happen, and naturally, I had to investigate. Turns out, I was standing at the very tip of the Boston Fish Pier, built in 1914 as the first pier in the country designed just for commercial fishing. Back then, this place was buzzing. Boats would pull in, packed with cod and haddock, and the real action happened at the end of the pier at the Exchange. The Exchange was basically Wall Street for fish. Buyers and sellers would meet there to make deals, set prices, and argue about mackerel and stuff. It was loud, it was lively, and it probably smelled like victory and sea bass. These days, the building is home to offices and event spaces, but the history, still hanging in the salty air. And then, as if the day couldn't get more perfect, I spotted a van from Chatham Fish and Lobster. That's my hometown, Chatham, Massachusetts. The van had just delivered fresh catch straight from the Cape. It felt like such a full circle moment, a little reminder that my coastal roots are still feeding Boston, one scallop at a time. So yeah, I came looking for a magic carp and found a century of seafood history instead. Plus, a sweet shout out from home. History, hometown pride, and a couple Pokemon? 10 out of 10 would wander there again. Follow your curiosity and maybe some PokéStops too, and you'd never know where they'll take you.
Special thanks to Dan Gorgon for putting that together. Oops, sorry. Chloe says serendipity.
Yeah, a couple fun things. First, there were choppers going by overhead because something was going on a couple blocks over. We didn't know what, but they were hovering there the whole time. So you don't hear it because all the shots were B-roll. The other thing is, did you notice in the archival photos that the men are wearing suits? They're like literally in a boat collecting some fish out of like a rowboat or something, and they're wearing suits.
It's kind of nuts, really. The fact that they're handling all that fish in that, that way. That's quite the method, I guess.
Yeah, well, maybe they're just going back and forth to the Exchange or something that way, but I was still like, suits, you don't see those anymore.
Right.
Very rarely.
Very true.
Yeah, but I love that nerd stuff. I do. And I love history. And a lot of the stops are little rabbit holes for me, at least, of local history in particular, which I find fascinating. I love learning the local history of every place I visit. And you're not going to hear about something like the history of the Boston Fish Pier if you just like look for Boston history, because it gets overshadowed by the Revolutionary War history of the, obviously of the area. So anyway, lots of fun little surprises for me.
And that's the kind of neat thing about the game is, you can play it on a bunch of different levels. You can try to collect every Pokemon you ever saw, which is not especially interesting to me, although it's fun sometimes when you get a cool variation of one. But the stops all come with real world connectivity to them. There's something interesting that you could do in the real world. And exchanging the gifts. I have friends that I've collected all over the world from this website. So I'll get them from Thailand and South Korea and Hong Kong and a few other interesting places, Australia, also Austria. So, it's fun because you start to see stuff from other parts of the planet as well. Have you any memories or recollections of gifts that you've received from afar that you were like, oh, that's actually cool and worth it?
Ooh, let me see. Well, it was exciting for me when I went to Vienna last November because I was able to get cool gifts, and I super love giving cool gifts. I
Yes.
know it's whatever, it's dumb to get excited about, but I do. I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I can give Schönbrunn Palace to someone." So I'll spin that thing as many times as I can spin it while I'm there because it takes a few minutes to kind of refresh, and then you can go back. But yes, I have a postcard book in Pokemon Go where I save the ones from kind of interesting places, or sometimes I save the ones from my baby, even if they're the same ones she sent me before, because, they're from her.
Right.
So I have to. Let's see. Park Francisco Canton Rosado in Mexico. It's not an amazing PokéStop, so I'm not going to show you the picture because it's boring. But let's see. Petite Amphitheater in Quebec. Can you? The picture makes such a difference to me. Oh,
Well,
here's a fun one. John Ryland's Library in Manchester, United Kingdom.
I know that place. And similarly, I have the City of York coat of arms from Yorkshire.
Oh, nice.
That might have been somewhere you've been.
I have a friend in the Netherlands who sends me postcards from the Netherlands.
Nice.
So any one of these things would be interesting enough for me to probably take a dive into and see what it's about. I especially like historic mansions. I love old libraries. Anything that's got a plaque, I guess, but I don't like the plaque in the photo. Like, some people take a picture of a plaque and make that the stop, and it's so boring. But the place itself is beautiful. So if the place is worthy of a plaque, I will love it. But I don't want a picture of the plaque.
You don't necessarily want the plaque. Joanne points out something, by the way, from those 1900s fishing ones. There was a lot of work to clean the suits. That's I hadn't thought much about that.
No, that's true. I mean, there were, I'm not being naive. There were definitely, work clothes that weren't suits for folks that were, on the regular working on the boats and stuff like that. These guys were probably shuttling back and forth to make some deals, but just the same, a suit to get on a rowboat and go out to, a bigger ship probably and look at some fish. Like that's interesting. I don't think I've seen a man put on a suit for something besides a funeral, a court hearing, or a wedding. My whole life.
Yeah, that sounds accurate to me.
Yeah, and I feel like we've all lost something. But then again, I wear leggings every day, so I'm not exactly putting on pearls or heels or any of that. I get it.
I wear my clothes like they're a uniform. I have a bunch of gray things and a bunch of blue things, and that's it. Have a nice day. Oh. In the process of doing these little Pokemon tours, what's kind of fun is that we're using it as kind of a springboard to expand curiosity, which again is another whole point. That starting this show as Play for Time, where we just go and do little segments, the idea was maybe we can go on location to some places. Maybe we can, share our special interests and those sorts of things. So it's kind of fun.
And we're interested in yours too. But the point isn't Pokemon Go. The point is getting out of the house, going someplace new, and learning something new. For me, that's what it is for me.
For
so
sure.
I would atrophy if I sat in front of the TV and did nothing else. For me, this gets me out, and the promise of learning something new is the bait for me.
Which is why I took up photography as well, was to get me out of the house. It was a whole plan to, if I have some reason to get out and fill up my lens every given day, then that's a good enough reason. So
you must have taken some good ones.
Oh, down in Boston? Sure.
Yeah.
Yep, I took a few. I was at an event. You were invited to one of the dinners of it, but I was at an event called Fuel, which is our leadership training program, and so I was there to capture parts of the graduation for our friend Piers, who I'm basically his cheap labor to do photos. Kerry does video, so Yeah, I took some graduation pics. I took some, and then in and around, I took some Boston pics and some real nice kind of fun Boston nightlife. My camera does an incredible job of just like sucking in evening lighting and making it look kind of good. So I was pretty happy about that. Plus, did a couple of random photo walks about. So it's been rather fortuitous roaming. Didn't get any today. I just had meeting after meeting this morning before the show, and then I had to take the 1 hour ride back north. But hey, whatever. I still have a lot of sunlight between now and calling today a miss on shots. So we'll see how it goes.
And now your YouTube channel, Photography is Meditation, gets
yes.
all your good photos, and we just have to go look at that.
It's a curse you have to endure sometimes. And I guess the one thing I could do is I could show at least a tidbit of one of the things I've done lately there, I guess. I don't know. Hang on,
Yes.
Let me share a screen.
So it's interesting seeing your work, how it's developed, how you've changed what you look at, how you frame things. You still use golden hour. That's your go-to light.
Yeah, if I could cheat a little, I'll always use some golden hour. But all right, I'll play just a little of this. I won't play the whole thing, but this is went out to the cemetery and got some snaps. So I think everybody has a fascination with the cemeteries. I think we have a bunch of different ways that we come to this. We might want to think about people who have come and gone. Moses here, born in 1806, died in 1861. We might think about them. Cemeteries are peaceful. They're always built to sort of be a place where we can reflect. John Davenport's over there. Is he a relative? Is he older than Moses or younger? He died a little before him, it looks like.
You wore your gray for
Who are these people? Where did they go? What do they mean? I am as gray as I can. I like this cemetery. Just found it the other day. I like it because there's so much moss. It's so soft. It's such traveled land. It's very organic looking. It's definitely not like work. And I needed this today. I was away for a vacation. I woke up and realized that there was stuff on my calendar that I didn't even know was there. And I missed the first meeting. I'll get to the next one, but I missed it. And there was nothing I could do. If you think about it, what's the truth that you learn in a cemetery? No matter what you've done, good, bad, or otherwise in the world, you end up here.
Just pointing out, Dan Gorgone did not edit this.
Which you can tell because I'm such a pathetic editor is why. That's what she tried to say. Dan wouldn't want credit for this shitty editing.
That's not how no. You just do things your own way. And Dan does them his way, and the difference to me is apparent, but just in case. Wow, look at that artistry in those carvings. It's really something.
It wasn't until I was putting this all together that I heard all the clips of the birds. And Leslie says we have a small cemetery next door to our house. The girls and I walked through the woods to check it out for a project for school years ago. It's fascinating.
See, it's history. I actually did look up a couple of battles that were referenced on some of these tombstones because it dates back to the Civil War. So I was learning stuff about the Civil War as we went. And we're up in Massachusetts, and you forget sometimes just how many people and how many communities were directly affected by the war. And look at all that fog too. Is that why you chose the cemetery on a foggy day? Yeah, I thought the fog was the secret ingredient in making it kind of work out. So I'll take this off our screen, but it's definitely, I think, the secret ingredient to making the cemetery look even more fun. It was like very moody, and see, as a photographer especially as one who's not making set design, I have to trust light and other atmospherics to make my set design. Otherwise, you're just kind of shooting something bland. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to
have that roll in, because often I have this weird feeling in my mind that I've wandered into a set that no one knows. Like I shouldn't have access, and I took my pictures there.
I actually do think you're not supposed to walk on the grass there because they were like, stay on the roads. I don't know if that was for everybody, like, or just cars or whatever, but you were all over that place. So lawbreaker.
Yeah, I was not gonna not walk on the. I want to be close to those guys. You know, what are they gonna complain?
I thought it was so funny. You're in your gray jacket and your gray pants, and the day is so gray, and all the stones are so gray. And I don't know, it was just very moody. It's a vibe, I guess.
I guess I should have worn my bright yellow, cream-colored clothing, my taupe pants, perhaps, and then I would have.
Well, one of the things that I think you even mentioned in the video, but I was looking at those stones being like, holy mackerel, like, has stuff gone downhill in terms of how monuments get produced now? It's like, do you want a rectangle or do you want it kind of rounded? That's what you get now.
All you get.
And there's like full on sculptures on those things. So
yeah. Getting a lot of interesting feedback about that. I had a person say they were up in Scotland, not Chloe. A person say they were up in Scotland at a cemetery, and they never really thought to take the pictures. And now seeing my video, they were like, "Oh no, I like totally should have done that because there were some great things to remember there." And I said, "Yeah, it's not offensive, I don't think, to photograph burial stones. I think it's a way to carry their memory forward even another step, don't you?"
Yeah, I mean, well, so I think all of us want to be remembered. We all hope that we'll be remembered, and that's sort of like the family's attempt to make sure that the person's memory lives on. And what's interesting, at least for me as like a history nerd, some of them give context and will say, this person died at age 30 or something in the battle of something. And you look it up and you realize how long ago it was, and the fact that, it was a battle in the South that took a lot of young men from Massachusetts, like in northern Massachusetts. And think about for me, I was just like, think about how long it even takes to get from northern Massachusetts to the South at that time, and how that person probably had not left their hometown before, or at least had not gone that far. So there's just a lot to it. And I think on a human level, it spoke to me.
Yeah, I see that. Total left field 90-degree turn. Man, I wish I had that old Tim Kitzrow quote thing right now.
You probably could have still used that.
Probably, yeah. I saw this, and I was thinking about it when we were talking about places that have sort of a feel or a vibe to them. IKEA did something kind of smart. They made an IKEA ad playing on Severance. So they decided to make an ad that says, "For work that's mysterious and important." And if anybody's watching Severance, that really captures the vibe there, that liminal space thing that Kerry and I have talked about a couple times. How clever, right?
They also did another one that was meat balm. It was meatball flavored lip balm.
No.
Yes, they did.
That's intense.
Mm-hmm. I was like,
meat balm.
Do you eat the meatballs when you go there?
Oh, they're the best. Are you kidding? Swedish meatballs they're God's own food.
I just feel like it's not a good idea. So you stuff yourself full of processed meat, and then you go wandering around a big cavernous liminal space and get lost. Like, what happens if your tummy doesn't like the meatballs and you're stuck somewhere in housewares? I don't know.
Yeah,
it seems like a bad situation.
The restrooms are not that far from there, so you can have all of that arc in one spot if you want. But meatballs, lingonberries, etc. I've always wanted to visit Mexican cemeteries. I think it's beautiful the way families paint and decorate them. Oh, I agree. It's an interesting idea. Like do a cemetery tour sometime.
I get PokéStops from a person, like Poke gifts from a person that lives in Mexico, and the colors are really beautiful. Like there's murals and painted buildings and stuff like that. And yeah, it's pretty vibrant.
They do not wear all gray in Mexico. That's for sure.
You'll stand out for a couple reasons.
I'll have to dress somewhere differently if I want to do my trick down there. Well, we've come to the end of an episode of that. So yeah, the cemetery one was edited by me. Dan does not get to blame for all of that look. He gets credit for the other one. But if we'd love to see your videos, it makes our day when we get something. And Chloe sent in a video or two. Leslie sent in the chicken video, which is still a favorite. it's always fun. So send them in, Chris@chrisbrogan.com.
And
what?
And we're sponsored by StreamYard.
Sponsored by StreamYard. What an easy product. It just does the thing for you. Everything's handled. It's great. They've advanced it over the years that you and I've used it.
It's capable of more stuff than we use it for because we're lazy. But yeah, you can have multiple guests. You can have multiple layouts. It does all the things and makes it stupid easy. So cbrogan.net/StreamYard. I can't speak anymore.
Yet.
I got my voice back and I still can't talk.
You got your voice. The other thing StreamYard lets you do is you can just push any button.